Dear students, hello one more time. Welcome to our class, and today's our class will be focusing again to the qualitative and quantitative analysis with more clear examples, with more deeper. We'll be focusing to both of them. So let's look now to the cases. So qualitative analysis, what it consists actually. Initially, will have interviews for personal in-depth responses, individual interviews. We might have the focused groups interviews. We might have observations and open-ended surveys and case studies. These are the main, we can say, the types of the methods that we collect the data from our respondents. It depends. Sometimes we can make an interview, sometimes we can make a group interview, observation, open-ended surveys, and case study. It depends on you, on your research types, the behavior, what kind of questions you are raising, right? It definitely depends on your accessibility. Probably you don't have an access to interview, you don't have an access to the group interview, right? That's why this all depends on your access. What do you have an access? All right. Okay. When you're making a survey, it has to initially start with an introduction, briefly about the studying, demographic questions, for example, age, gender, occupation, and then in this next section we will have a main open-ended questions. It can be the next we can also have a follow-up questions like, why do you think that is? Can you give an example? That you need to give a full example, and based on your answers the research will be conducted, right? So this is an example. For example, let's give an example. Qualitative surveys, students experience with online learning. Initially, in the introduction one, there will be the confidential information that the answers will not be shared with anyone. You have to give information that the survey will take like 10 to 15 minutes, because respondents, they have to know how much time they have to spend for this. Section 2, there will be the background information. It is an optional, but we recommend you to include it. What is your age? What field do you study? What year of study you are currently in? Have you taken online classes? These questions are based on nowadays topic. The topic is students' experiences with online learning. Based on this topic, we set the questions of those. Probably your topic is not the same. Probably your topic is another topic, like, right? Your experience, how do you think about the fast food, right, industry, or about the beverage industry? Do you consume Coke every day, like this, for example? So your next questions will be also based on the topic. Today's topic was students' experience with online learning. That's why the questions are, as an example, a little bit different. So this is a section 2, and the next one will be section 3. Section 3 is open-ended questions. Open-ended questions, that means the respondent has to give a full answer. Let's look at the question. Can you describe your overall experience with online learning? You need to describe, you need to give a full information, you need to give a full general information. Second question, how did online classes affect your motivation and concentration, right? So you need to give a full answer. That's why it's called open-ended questions. So mainly in the qualitative cases, we will have just 3 sections, and you don't need to make it 4 sections. If you have, please, you can do, but initially we have introduction, background, and the third one is open-ended. That's enough. How do you collect the data? You can collect the data through Google form. You can make a special in a Google form. There is a section for this. You can make it through Google form, or you can make it through Telegram. In Uzbekistan, it's very, very common to use a Telegram in order to gather the survey. And the third one is other social applications. It depends on you. Maybe you don't use Telegram. Please, you can use other social applications based on your taste choice. After collecting the survey, what do? Organize the data. Initially we clean the data, like whether all the respondents fully answered. If someone didn't answer, you need to skip that respondent. You cannot manipulate data by yourself, okay? You cannot make it fake answers. Third step is the analysis. You need to make it, put it in Excel. You have the analysis based on the answers. And then the fourth step, interpretation of the results. You can start using by SPSS. You can start using by mainly for the qualitative analysis. We do apply SPSS. It's based still or Excel if you can base it on your choice, definitely, and your taste, please. You can definitely insert in such kind of Excels or Google Sheets as well when you want to show the introduction section, for example, the background information, the age, right, the gender you want to show. You can also use such kind of graphs from the Excel. Let's move on again more deeply in the quantitative analysis. It's actually you will gather the data mainly from the World Bank, because for the qualitative, the most difficult section is in order to gather the data. While for the quantitative, you have already data, the difficult section is to analyze that data. So in a qualitative, if you collected the data, you have done the most important part. For the quantitative, you have a data for sure, but the most important is you need to analyze it. That is something always challenged part of the quantitative analysis, because sometimes we will not have a significant result, sometimes the data is not available, and so on. So you will collect mainly the data from World Bank. We know everything regarding to this, and this is how we collect the data through World Bank, writing the variables names. You are writing the country. It depends what kind of country you are studying as a case. You have to select step by step. Here we are using for example, you can take some countries we have selected, and then definitely you need to select the series. Series means that the case that you are going to analyze, like here we have randomly selected access to electricity, access to electricity. You can see different region, urban and rural areas. We have selected randomly, but for your case, what kind of topic you are going to analyze, if it is inflation, if it is trade, if it is unemployment, you will also choose based on this, okay? And the years, definitely, in the quantitative analysis, we have to include more years so that our sample will be significant. It definitely depends whether the data is available or not. You can definitely select more years, as much as you want, based on the available data. Then apply changes. Then we got here the data through the right section here. From here, as you see, yes, from here, Excel, you can download all the data, okay, because World Bank gives us access from here easily to download it, all your data. Once you download, it will be in this form. This is all of our data, but it is before pasting it to the data, we need to, this is in horizontal, so we need to make it vertical. You can have to convert it to vertical section, because the years, everything has to be in this section, so that Stata can read your data. All right, so we will set to the regulation, and then we go for the Stata. You can use any kind of Stata. The section is from 14 or above, 16, 17, 18, whatever you have. For downloading section, installing, you can watch some YouTube videos for your references. How to download, how to install is very, very easy. You can watch some videos from the YouTube. So once we actually install the Stata, and then we open the Stata and import our data from Excel, because our data was in Excel, so we have to import it into Stata, and then we have to clean our data. Then we will rename the variable name, and then we initially run descriptive statistics, and then we check for the correlation. Here it depends what kind of techniques you are using. Whether you are using descriptive, correlation, it must have. Then you can use OLS, you can use PPML, you can use DOLS. It depends on you what kind of technique you are going. Here we are given an example of the simple OLS regression method, how to run it. All right, and That's our do file. Do file will be also shared in the group when we will have a practical face-to-face classes, offline classes. I will be sharing all the do files, we can say the orders, and then based on this do file you can run our data. This was our data. Initially we have to clean, because once we clean we will not have those red points in this data. We have already renamed it, and then we run for the descriptivity, and then for the correlation, and then after and for the regression analysis. This is how we will receive our result. We have 430 observations, and we have the R square, and here we have R square 0.67 here. Yes, 0.67. Pretty good for random selection. Is considered a very pretty good. And that's how we do interpretation class in a practical case. I will be teaching you in the next class, because we will have a very practical case with the next class with my paper. And see you in the next lecture. Bye.